Hello, welcome back to the Play Ratings. Today, Xavier and I will be talking about the 2-0 away victory at Dynamo Kyiv. We appreciate, again, as always, all of your support. So if you could please like, subscribe. We really appreciate the people that have made comments after the shows about how much you like it, just comments about the players. Share your ratings, and I'll be definitely sure to read it and get back to you. Unfortunately, Louis and D, they arrived back this morning at time of recording, but both are very tired, so they couldn't do the ratings with me. So Xavier's back. Xavier, how are you?
I'm good, Dad. Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Let me pop up the so you're obviously we didn't go to the game, you watch the game. What are your thoughts on the game? Just a little summary on the game.
Yeah, it was comfortable, wasn't it? I thought, we managed it really well. Boss possession pretty much the entire match, especially in the first half, probing, Kiev, trying to see where we could find some openings, eventually get one, through the goal with Munoz, which is great, kind of opened up things for us a bit. Thought we were unlucky really to not be leading by more than one, as we went into the half. But, Eddie comes on, thought he was really sharp, which I'll get into, and I'm sure we'll get into, later. Takes his second goal really well after some great work from Pino, and just really, really comfortable after that. I think we could still be playing now, and Kiev wouldn't have scored a goal, to be honest. So it was 2-0. It's probably, I think, closer, based on the balance of play, probably a little closer to 3 or 4. But, it was 3 points, in our first Conference League match. We looked like, we've been playing in European competitions for years. I thought it'd be a bit more difficult. I mean, we were talking about it on the previous show. Kiev, 8th favorites, to win the competition this season. So that was, in this competition, like that wasn't, slouches that we beat. So I thought it was, really, really impressive performance by us. I'm just buzzing really. I couldn't, believe how easy it was. It was really, really good to see. We just looked like a well-oiled machine. Everyone knows exactly what they're supposed to be doing. When they're on the pitch, Glasner is drilled, the players wonderfully, and it was great. I thought all of it was brilliant. I was very jealous, watching the videos from Wednesday night before, seeing the Palace fans out and about and, singing. The pre-match videos looked great as well on Thursday. The fans throughout the entire match, I thought were wonderful. It was great. We don't rate them, but I thought our fans were fully a 10 out of 10. I thought it was brilliant. They came across, well on TV. That's some funny chants as well. The Russian drones one in Mateta has been ringing in my head all morning. Thought that was brilliant. It was great. It was great to hear, Daichi get a song. All of it was brilliant. It was, it was just a wonderful day. I'm very, jealous of all those who got to go, but also very, very happy, for anyone, who was able to experience that yesterday. And, long may, it continue, this run, the good feelings around the club, everything about it right now is just, it's wonderful. It's so just an incredible time to be Palace.
Yeah, the song goes, 19 games undefeated, which is mad. 7th in the Conference League, comfortably in the top 8. We want to end up finishing up, but it was great. I popped up the lineup because it was interesting. We obviously go with our regular. They call it 3-4-3. It's really a 3-4-2-1. But what I found interesting was that the Dynamo Kiev manager Shakovsky changed his formation to go 3 at the back, and it was doing okay. Actually, the injury to McCaffrey, which we'll get into when he hit heads with Lacroix, kind of changed things. But you're right, we were never uncomfortable during the game at all. Just real quick, couple of changes from the last game. Obviously, Sosa came in for Mitchell, and Kamada went to the number 10. Saul got a break, and it was Wharton Hughes. And Wharton Hughes, I have it somewhere, double pivot, has actually done quite well over the time for us. And again, won a game yesterday. But let's get into the individual performances. I'll remove that. And we'll start with Dean Henderson. I gave him an 8, game 8.5. You go first. What are your thoughts on the Henderson play?
Well, he didn't really have much to do, right? I honestly, I can't, I just watched the game back. I couldn't actually quite finish it. Got to about 85 minutes.
Right.
I don't think he had to make a save to make.
Just one at the end of the game, just one.
Was
save.
it? Okay, so yeah. So I didn't remember that yesterday.
Very late. That was late. It
yeah.
happened 90 or something minute. Yeah, exactly. It was late. Yeah.
Yeah. So didn't really have much to do. I thought his kicking, his distribution, I thought that was good. Yeah, I mean, it was. I think in terms of matches he'll play this season, I'll probably be amongst the least busy he'll be. So I gave him an 8.5 just because anytime I keeps a clean sheet. I think that's worthy of praise, even if they don't have much to do, which is, down to the other players as well. But, I think, Hendo, again, did everything that was required of him yesterday. And, it's now our third clean sheet in 3 matches in the Conference League. I think we're up to 6 or 7 in all competitions, which is great. He's off to a great start this season. Well-deserved call up today for England again. So yeah, just that's why I gave him, 8.5.
Yeah, again, you're right. One save to make, but again, he had no save to make in the first half at all. Yeah, the save was from a header from Kovariev in 89th minute. Actually, he had a very easy save. Came out well, claiming the ball. I thought he was overall 16 out of 24 on passing, 7 for 15 on long balls, but again, nothing to do. And again, another clean sheet, like you said. You do that, and you're going to win a lot of matches. And again, just solid by Hendo. Next born is Sosa. I gave him a 3, game of 4. I'll start because I really want him to do well, and he's definitely a good addition in for the fact that we need Mitchell to get that rest, and I think that the reason we brought Sosa in is for League Cup, FA Cup, Conference League games, but he let himself down. I thought yesterday on the one thing that I thought he was really good at, and hopefully he'll get good at, and I'll get the red card in a minute, is his crossing. He actually had his crossing. He was 0 for 6 on crosses.
Yeah, that's
For a
good.
guy who's a guy in a wing back system where you're looking to him to create chances, it's a real shame. Funny, he had two shots. He had a great chance that was set up, I believe, by a Wharton. The first 27th minute had a chance to score once that set him up. Later on, he had a 44th minute had a better chance with a great save by the keeper. And then, unfortunately, within a matter of 2 minutes, second half, he gets these 2 yellow cards. The second one, unfortunate. He obviously doesn't mean to go in. Even the manager, Glasner, mentioned at the end it was unfortunate, but it's a silly red card to pick up. And now it takes him out of the next Conference League game, not out of the league, obviously. And again, it just charged him to play and to kind of get a rhythm going, and he blew it. And that's why I gave him the 3. But your thoughts on Sosa's performance?
Yeah, I mean, I think everything that you said is definitely fair enough. I think the bit about you were saying, just having him in the squad, and being able to give Ty a rest, I think,
Right.
has been really, really important. I saw
Yep.
somewhere on Twitter yesterday say, just paying him 2.5, like the 2.5 million transfer fee that we paid was worth, just keeping Ty fresh. Like, honestly, especially
Exactly.
though
I
Ty,
agree.
especially the way he's been playing, this season.
Yeah.
But I agree, he definitely has to be better. It is disappointing to see how poor his crossing has been. It's not just today. Oh, so sorry. It wasn't just yesterday as well. I feel like this has been like a constant theme. I keep
Yeah.
waiting.
It has been. It
Yeah,
has been, unfortunately. Yeah.
it's strange. Yeah, I thought it was the same against Millwall. It was the same against Fredrikstad. Over the 2 legs. Just the crossing's been very poor. So I thought, you hope that gets better. I'm trying to be a little hesitant. Given that, he's just gone to the club, adapting to a new league, new country, all of those things. We saw, Daichi
Right.
didn't get off to the best start, last season. And, now he's one of our, key players, one of the first names on the team sheet. And obviously that won't be Sosa, considering Ty and his form. But I do think, there's a player that he's obviously coming from, an established pedigree, being regular
Yep.
international with Croatia, playing at the top level, playing at a good level, in Germany, played at Ajax. So, I think there's still some hope for him to come good, but I thought yesterday was poor.
Yeah.
The 2 yellows was just disappointing. I think it was the only really thing that kind of soured the match, mainly because
Yeah.
the next Conference League match we play, is in a couple weeks, and I think we have like 7 games in like 2.5
Exactly. Ty would
weeks.
need. Yeah.
Yeah, Ty's gonna
Exactly.
really, it's like be a great match, for Ty to get a break, and now he's not really gonna be able to do that in the same way. So that bit is disappointing. It was just, again, the second challenge, like you were saying, was unlucky for the second yellow, but he'd literally just gotten like I just finished watching it. He'd gotten the first yellow like 90 seconds before. We're up 2-0.
Exactly.
We're comfortable. There's just no need to make the
Yeah.
challenge. Like
Right.
again, it was unlucky, but there's just no need to make the challenge there.
So real quick, I popped it up on the screen. He had 6 crosses. Again, none of them hit the target. So funny how stats work. Yeah, he had the most crosses, but none of them hit the target. And again, the only thing I'll say is that regarding the matches. Hopefully, what we'll do, because Glasner will look at the data. He'll just flip it and have Sosa play one of the league or cup games, and then Ty will play the Conference League game. So he'll still get a rest.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, Dad. Yeah.
Worst case
Yeah.
scenario is that the Vedi plays left wing back, which I wouldn't want to see, but at least you have that option now. So again, we
Yeah.
have options. It's disappointing. Anyway, get to more positive news. Danny Munoz, I gave him 8.5. You gave him a 9. You go first on Munoz. You gave him the highest score. Also, you go first.
Yeah, I mean, it was typical Munoz, wasn't it? He was wonderful yesterday. Again, his energy every match is unbelievable. I have no idea how he's so fit. Like it makes no sense to me. And I was watching the game, with a couple of friends, yesterday, and he just is. It's not only like his fitness, match to match. He also just doesn't miss any matches. Like there was a bit where he went down yesterday, and I was thinking, I was like, I don't think he's ever missed a match through an injury since he's joined us.
No,
Like I
just
think
the suspension for yellow
yeah, just
cards for
suspension.
Arsenal. Exactly.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's mad. Like
Crazy.
it's
Yeah.
unbelievable. Considering how much work he puts in, like it's amazing. Like at no point he's felt something in his hamstring at any point. So yeah, again, another great performance getting up and down the right. I thought he linked well, with Kamada. In the first half he was playing, the right 10, and then, when Sar came on, they're doing their usual two-step, thought was really good. Again,
Yeah.
it was an unbelievable header, for the first goal. I thought,
Yeah.
he was trying to knock that back across, but when you see it back again, it definitely looks like he's going for goal, and it's a wonderful leap at the back post.
Yeah.
And like he's always in those kinds of positions, at the back post. It's obviously something, Glasner, is drilled into the players, the left wing back, when the ball's on the right side, getting to the far post, and then, vice versa.
Yeah.
With Munoz getting on the back post when a cross or anything is coming in from the left. And yeah, it's a wonderful header. And he also, there were things, in addition to that, the goal was obviously great, but he had a really good cross, right after the goal that Sosa just doesn't get good enough contact on. Right before the end of the first half, which I thought was really good.
Yep. Got that down,
Yeah, the chance that Sosa has that comes from the Wharton cross. Like Munoz is the one who wins the ball back high up the pitch, gets it to Wharton. Wharton plays that cross, and it's a good save, to deny Sosa, his first goal. And in the second half as well, he has a good cross for Pino. He takes some time, which he does, and instead of just pinging it, cuts it back, to Pino for a one-time shot. Pino doesn't get great contact on it, to be fair, but it was on target. It was a bit unlucky, and it came from, the end of a great move. And again, it was just his typical performance. I thought he was great. And the end product, came yesterday, and I thought it was fully deserved. I thought he was wonderful yesterday.
Yeah, you hit on the key points, so I'll just throw out the stats. So we obviously had the goal, so now caught up with Ty with getting a goal. He was 37 for 43 passing, 80%. Obviously had the one shot, one goal, the header for the goal, 67 touches, 2 out of 3 accurate crosses. We talked about Sosa. Well, that's Munoz on the other side shows you what you need to do. You have to connect at least 60-something% of your crosses, which he did. Defensively, 3 out of 3 tackles, 1. 4 clearances, 1 interception, 2 recoveries, 3 out of 5 ground duels, 1, 4 out of 5 aerial duels, 1. And what I loved was, we'll get to him later on, is that he got the little rest, not a lot, the manager brought Cardines in. So the crowd got to give him a little clap. He's got his song, and more importantly, he got a little bit of a rest. So I thought Munoz was brilliant yesterday. Really, really, again, and the stats showed most duels, 1 was his, most tackles was his, was really, really good yesterday. Fantastic by Munoz. Let's move on to our centre backs. Mark Gahey. Sort of 8.5 from me, 9 from you. I'll just say, as I always do, man, Mark Gahey is a tremendous leader. He's a great player. But played really, really well yesterday. Didn't have a lot to do defensively because, again, they didn't really have a threat. I mean, we'll get to Lacroix versus Guerrero, the striker who had no joy at all. But just thought what I liked about it, though, actually I'll put it back up because it's important to talk about how he played and how I thought we changed a little bit. Yeah, the most successful pass is 61. And what I liked about it, and I'm sure you noticed it too, that he was very much involved in the build-up from first minute to last. I love the fact that as opposed to having defensively, Gahey was really involved in trying to get involved in the build-up. 82% passing completion, 82 touches, 2 out of 2 tackles, 1. Only 2 out of 7 long balls. That didn't work out, but ground duels, again, 3 out of 5, and he had 10 recoveries, 3 clearances. I really love the work that he did. Couple of highlights as far as balls played. He had a great ball in the box. He's playing a lot of those balls from the left side to the box. Just one earlier on, just missed JP. A couple of times, again, it was like 3 times he tried to get JP in the box. Made a nice early switch to Munoz that led to an early JP chance. But Gahey, again, as a leader, as a football player, was brilliant yesterday. But your thoughts on how Mark Gahey played?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Louis talks about it a lot. It's just we take these performances for granted, man.
Yeah,
like we really do. Like he's unbelievable. Like it's every match, it just looks like this. And honestly, it's just I never think he's gonna have a poor match. Like I can't remember the last time he's had one. He's just, especially this season, he's been unbelievable. Like he's been incredible throughout, his entire, time with us. But especially this season, he seems to have gone up another level. It's unbelievable. He's the best center back in the country, I think. and I don't really know if it's that close, but he's unbelievable. And we really do take these performances for granted. I'm trying not to, because I don't know how much longer he's going to be here. So, just cherishing, every performance, while, he's captaining us. But he's great. The bit that you mentioned, in terms of, how important he is to our buildup. I'm watching the match this morning, and I'm thinking, like, there's so many balls being pinged into the tens, and I'm seeing it's coming from Gay, and I was like, I have a little note of that, and I'm like, I feel like this is like even more than like usual. So then I go to foot mob, 14 balls into the final third now. From left center back, like that's mad. That's madness. Like it's unbelievable.
It's normal. It's not normal.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So I'm like, I was like, his progressive passing looks really sharp today. But I was like, maybe it's just a normal day. And then I look at that's just not a normal amount of line breaking balls for a center back to be playing. So yeah, he has it all. And he is so important to our build up, and just really really cherishing the moments while he's here. Just a couple of the one ball I want to point out in particular is the offside goal.
Yeah.
Like the initial line breaking pass into Wharton before Wharton releases Eddie, like it comes from Gay, as it so often does. So I just want to shout that out. I thought he was great yesterday.
And England call up again, so that's nice. I wish he could get a break, but he and obviously Henderson deserve that. England call ups, and we'll get to Mateta's call up to France in a bit. But real quick, Chris Richards, I gave him an 8. You gave him an 8.5. You go first. How do you think Chris played?
I thought he was good again. Just very, very solid, as he normally is. Just winning, his duels like constantly. And I think what is started to become an underrated part of his game now is how much he's improved as a passer. I think
I'm going to get to that.
I thought you might.
Go ahead,
because I looked it up. I think he only misplaced 2 passes yesterday.
Two.
Yeah, that's what I thought I saw. Yeah, something like 46 out of 48, something like that. And I think especially the passing with his left foot is really, really good. Like obviously we all remember, the long ball he plays into Mateta in the final that sticks to Mateta. It's a left foot, 40, 45 yards on his chest.
Cup final,
and he's gotten really good now, playing right center back. If that pass to Munoz isn't on, like directly to his right, he'll cut inside, play it with his left, and it's going into Wharton and his breaking line of pressure there that we can get out. And I think that part, obviously, athletically, physically, is unbelievable, and again, just regularly wins his duels. But I think his passing now has become really, really good as well. And I think, I really wanted to point that out because I think it can become underrated given how, good he is, physically and athletically, that, his distribution out the back, I think, is really, really improved. And just wanted to shout that out. I thought he was good again yesterday, part of, a back five that didn't have much to do, but whenever they did it well, en route to keeping another clean sheet.
Yeah, shut down the attacks of Kyiv. I guess Yarmolenko got subbed off, I guess around halftime. He was upset and Guerrero had no joy. But when you talk about the passing, you're absolutely right. It was 46 out of 48. I know your stat brain is ridiculous. That was perfect. 96%. I want to go back real quickly. He made a pass against Liverpool, a cross-field pass. I'm like, what's he doing?
Yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah. I was like, well, what great. Right, the gay. But he does it now, and you don't even realize how much better he's gone, because that was always the pet peeve. People said, he can't pass. His passing got a bit better. He's gone so much better. So shout out to Chris Richard on the passing. It was brilliant yesterday. But again, 2 out of 2 tackles, 1, 2 clearances, 2 headed, 2 interceptions, 3 recoveries, 2 out of 3 ground duels, 1. Almost perfect defensively, and again the passing. But I mean, it's getting a little boring to my back because they're all so good. But shout out to Richards again, very, very solid game again. Like Gahey, you're looking at him and like 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10 every game. It's like, it's not boring, it's just efficient. And again, part of another clean sheet, by the way. Just not forget about that part. Another clean sheet for the back 3. Maxwell Sakwa, gave me 8.5. You gave me 8.5 also. I'll go first. We played really, really well. And I think what the testimony to that, again, I mentioned that is Guerrero, the striker, played the whole match. Guerrero, 90 minutes. He had 26 touches, 2 in the final third, offside once, and had let me just double check. Yeah, had obviously 0 shots, only 1 shot on goal. He totally negated the guy. In fact, it says here he had the least amount of touches of any player that played the 90 minutes, and that's all because of Lacroix. I mean, ridiculous. Lacroix was so good yesterday. I'll go to his stats before I get into a couple of key moments for him. Lacroix, 56 out of 62, 90% passing, 72 touches, 1 out of 1 tackles, 1, 5 clearances, 3 out of 4 aerial duels, 1. My only issue was when he had the him and McCav hit heads, and McCav ended up going off for the concussion, which led to the goal. That was bad. I was really worried about him. Obviously, McCav
Yeah.
was much worse because he had that. You could see that bruise on his head.
Hmm.
But really, just a brilliant job by Lacroix. Again, heard that stupid link today. Now all of a sudden, so they can't get Gahey, then a Liverpool one Lacroix, which is let's take all our can't take your best player, we'll take your second best defender or third best defender, whatever. But no, just a great performance by him again. I watched the video at the end when he does the thing with the crowd again. That's
Yeah.
always great. But again, he's one of the players again. He's part of these clean sheets and these defensive performances that are so good. We take for granted. But I thought Lacroix was brilliant. But your thoughts on Lacroix?
Yeah, I mean, I agree pretty much with everything you said. On Max, not really much to add. What I do want to point out is I was watching that Guerrero, and I was thinking like it was such a long day for him. Like just it was so long. Like the ball's getting pinged into him. He has the car. Yeah, he has the car on his back. I'm just thinking like this must be just miserable. Like, you played at, a good level. I didn't play as, it was quite a high level, but I've played football, pretty much all of our lives. And I'm just thinking lone striker up against someone like Max, like just long. Yeah, I just kept thinking about like he must have just been miserable. He couldn't wait for those 90 minutes to end. Like it's just like get back to playing domestically and not have to deal with that kind of defender. But yeah, he's a nightmare to play against. As a forward, and just happy to have him. The bit at the end with the fans that he does. After the wins, I think is wonderful. Has a real close connection. With the fan base. Definitely seems to be very well liked. In the change room. Is almost a captain. Second captain, a secondary captain. To Mark. In terms of his leadership abilities, we have a lot of leaders in the squad, and he's one of them. And yeah, just another really good performance by him.
Yeah. Let's go to next Adam Wharton. I gave him a 9. I gave him 9.5. Wow, what a performance! You gave man of the match. So why don't you go first? Your thoughts on how Adam Wharton played?
Yeah, I mean, I texted you right after the match, and wow. He's unbelievable. Like
he just way too easy yesterday.
Yeah, it looks like he's just like strolling around like his garden, just having like a kickabout, like playing football at the top level. Like he's unbelievable. Like the game, it's always those players where it's like the game just moves. You can tell that it just moves slower for them than it does. And obviously, at that top level, the game moves a lot slower for players. That's why they're at the top level. But for him, even amongst that top level, the game moves even slower for him. Like it's just unbelievable the way he gets the ball, and he already knows what he's doing when he gets on it. He knows which way he wants his first touch to be to set up the next pass. And every pass is going forward, like all the time. Like it's just unbelievable. And it's amazing he doesn't have an assist. Didn't have an assist yesterday, and he didn't have an assist against Liverpool. He could easily have gotten about 4 assists between, those two matches, which really shows, with him, like he's never going to have, the big numbers, especially considering the position that he plays. But if you just watch him, you can just see how good he is. Like I thought he was just unbelievable yesterday. There was a wonderful bit of control he had from a Hughes pass after we played through some pressure in the first half. He releases Munoz down the right, and it was just very casual. The ball gets pinged at him, and he like jumps up, takes it on like the outside of his left foot, just drops there. It's unbelievable. That cross he has for Sosa, just picks his head up. And you knew he was going to put in a good ball. You didn't know exactly where it was going because with him, the way he disguises his passes, but you knew he was going to pick out a good pass. Picks out a great cross for Sosa that the keeper makes a really good save in. The bit I mentioned earlier about Eddie's offside goal, gets the ball on the half turn, turns his guy, plays a lovely reverse ball into Eddie. Eddie takes it well, but was just offside. There's a point where after Eddie scores his goal, he wins the ball back in midfield, plays another nice reverse ball that sets Eddie off. Eddie gets that shot away. That was a good save from the keeper. And then I think there was another bit in the second half again where he plays a nice cross. It just misses Eddie's head. And there was a point where the commentator doing the match, I don't know his name, over here on CBS, just talking about how Wharton's just controlling the game. Because it was about like a 15-minute stretch in the second half where it felt like every single attack was going through him, and it felt like that the entire match. But in that particular point, it was like every time I looked, he was on the ball, like calling for it. Like he's getting it deep, getting us going, or he's getting it, at the top of the box, making these like lovely disguised passes, into our attackers or into our wing backs. I thought he was unbelievable yesterday. Again, it's just it's wonderful to watch him play. Ever since we've gotten him, you can just tell that he just processes the game. He processes the game just at a different level. And the way he uses the ball, and it's always a perfect way to pass on it. I remember thinking that when we got him, he was like a 100 million player in like 18 months. And I think it's been 18 months at this point. He is $100 million player, or £100 million player, I should say. Yeah, he's unbelievable. I thought he ran the show yesterday, and it's just, again, like Mark and so many other players inside, just cherishing every moment we have him here, and I can watch him. We can watch him. As a fan base play, because he's just unbelievable.
Yeah, I popped up the. I want to put the formation up because your comment is great. Because I remember the guy saying the same thing about he's running the second half. He said that, and I hadn't really noticed it, but from that point on, I just started watching how he ran it, and they went to the 3-4-1-2 Kiev to kind of match us, but Brashko and Yatsik must have said, "What are we doing?" Because they just had no idea how to get anywhere close to him.
Yeah.
Even when Hughes came off and then Kamada dropped into there, there was no difference. It was the Wharton show. Wharton ran the show. It was ridiculous. You're right. You talk about Mark having the 14 passes in the final third. He had 11. Deserved an assist because that Eddie goal was very close. Obviously, he had other chances. He was 47 out of 60 passing, so 78%. Created 4 chances. We talked about them before. 69 touches, 5 recoveries again. If he lost the ball, he'd quickly recover it back. He was unbelievable yesterday. I mean, honestly, I could have given man of the match. I only gave it to Pino coming up soon because I just thought Pino had his standout moment match for Palace. But yeah, you're right. Wharton was brilliant. Move on to Will Hughes. 6.5 from both of us. I'll go first quickly. I thought he had a solid game. Really shame that he got injured, but I think he probably needs a bit of a rest. The yellow card, again, 5th of the season. It was a poor tackle on Brashko. Maybe that's why Brashko didn't play as well, because Will Hughes was missing his heels the whole time. But 20 out of 26 passing, 77%, 29 touches, 2 recoveries. Really helped Wharton when he was in there. Again, the yellow card disappointed, but the injury hopefully it's not too bad. But thought he played a solid game, just not spectacular. But then Hughes isn't spectacular; he just gets the job done. But your thoughts on Will Hughes?
Yeah, I agree with that. I thought it was a fine performance. I don't think it was one of his better performances, but he's hit such high levels with us recently that, I don't think it's fair to expect him to hit those levels every match. So I thought he was fine. Thought he recycled the ball well, did well in possession, did well with his duels. Obviously got that yellow card. Again, I think the main thing with him is just hoping that injury isn't too bad. Given that the squad is just recently, obviously besides the long-term injuries, and Riyad and Decore, everyone else is fit. So just hoping that injury doesn't keep him out for too long, because we'll definitely need him for rotation. But again, we have the international break, after the match on Sunday. So, hopefully he's back when we get back, in a couple of weeks' time. That's my main thing, is just hoping, that injury wasn't too bad, because he's been such a key player for us, even if, yesterday wasn't like his standout performances have been this season.
Thank you, Kamada. 7.5 from me, 7.5 from you. You want to go first on how you thought Darchi played?
Yeah, I'll go well. I thought he liked to play well. I think his versatility is obviously so key to us. The way he can play, the 10, or he can drop back into the pivot. They're just 2 very different positions, and he's being asked to do 2 very different things. And I think he's better, as a pivot next to Wharton. Like, I don't think obviously he was as good yesterday as he was over the weekend, but over the weekend he was unbelievable. And I think that is a function of him, being able to play, deeper. I think he's a better player deeper. But that's not to say that he didn't play well yesterday. I thought, he plays a lovely ball for Mateta that he ended up blazing over. Not sure if that would have been given. I don't think the linesman actually ever ended up raising his flag. Not sure how it would have gone. Yeah. So I don't know.
Great ball, though. Brilliant,
yeah, it was a great ball. Yeah. So I thought that was great. Now that bit he has where, he picks up the ball. I think Pino
runs from the halfway line.
Yeah, it runs from the halfway line. Great drops his shoulder. And then he shifts it onto his left, and you can see what he's trying to do. He's just trying to roll it in. But he didn't quite get the contact that he wanted to. But I thought that was a wonderful run. It would have been a wonderful goal. It's a shame, he couldn't finish it off, but it was a great run. And again, I thought he did well. I'm not sure what his passing stats were yesterday, but I think he kept the ball pretty well. I know he won some fouls for us.
Only misplaced 3. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right, because I can't really remember him losing it that much. So that definitely sounds right. So yeah, I thought it was a solid performance by Daichi. Again, didn't hit the heights that he did Saturday, but again, it's not to say that he played poorly. I thought it was a good performance for him. It was nice to see him get a break as well, because it seems like he always plays 90. So it's nice to get him a break, before the weekend, and probably shift back to that pivot with Wharton, against Everton on Sunday.
Most likely, yeah. You hit on all the key points again. 16 out of 19 passing, 84%. Was the most foul player in the game. Like you, I'm glad he got the rest at 69 minutes to get out, because again, he has played a lot. 1-on-1 tackles, one recovery, 5 out of 9 ground duels, one again. Would always what I like about Dyche, he loses the ball, or if his ball's near him, he'll find a way to poke tackle or make a tackle and recover the ball. He was solid again, but one spectacular. That run though, the pass, the two stand-up moments with the pass to Mateta, the brilliant pass. How Mateta, again, we talk about it, we'll get to him in a minute, how he doesn't, again, need to fake the shot and go left. But again, the defender did come kind of quickly, by the way he hit that over the bar. But then the run that he makes, the shimmy in the box, he beats two players in the box, just doesn't make the contact. Again, the defender comes late to kind of get in front of him, but that would have been a brilliant goal and deserved goal for him. But I thought he played really, really well. Let's go to my man of the match next. Jamie Pino. I gave him a 9. My man of the match was CPSC fans man of the match on the website, and you gave him a 9. I'll go first. I thought Pino basically had his breakout moment. However, he had the 2 assists. Early in the game, though, he had a good early ball to Sosa, had a good early ball to Lacroix. That actually was the one moment when him and Macabra actually clashed heads with that cross. The great cross for the Munoz header. The great move down left. The way he beat that defender, good lord, to make the cross for Nketiah's goal was brilliant. 2 assists in the game. Subbed off for Deveni, got the rest. He was lively all match. I'll give you the stats real quick, because the stats kind of don't really give you the full 69 minutes played. 21 out of 30 passing, 70%, but he did create 3 chances. Had 2 shots on goal, almost had a goal. 47 touches, 3 out of 3 successful dribbles. Dribbling is very, very good. 2 out of 3 accurate crosses. Again, the crossing is good. 3 out of 3 tackles, 1. Very combative. Love that about him. Goes in for a header. By the way, there's one point even the com said he won a header in midfield. He should even have won. As full as he won a header. Like,
he's quite good in the air. Like, I've already noticed that. Like, he genuinely is like really good considering his size. He's quite good in the air. I was going to mention that point. Yeah.
Yeah. And 6 out of 8 ground duels, 1. But I thought he was brilliant. That's why I gave man of the match. I thought he needed a moment like that. I love the reaction that Eddie had to him when he scored, when he had the assist for the goal, gave him a nice big hug, and he deserved that. But your thoughts on Yemi Pino? And I like the song too. But yeah.
Yeah, the song's great, isn't it? Yeah, I love that song. I've been singing that as well all morning. Yeah, I thought he was really good. I think he was right up there with Wharton in terms of, who I wanted to pick for man of the match. So I definitely understand, why you picked him and why the fans picked him as well. I thought he was really good yesterday. I think you mentioned, his combativeness. Really, really underrated part of his game. And you could see why Glasner wanted to get him in, because of how important, winning or like just winning our duels are. Yeah, exactly. Like in a way that, Ebbs was brilliant, but was not, was great in, the defensive aspect of the game, as I think Pino is. Whereas I think, Ebbs is probably a little bit better, going forward. But yeah, I thought he was really good yesterday. Speaking to his competitiveness for that second goal, which when I was watching back this morning, the whole move starts because he wins the ball in our half. And then we keep the ball for a bit. And then eventually it gets played wide out to Sosa. Sosa plays around the corner. He does that little bit of skill. And then he plays that ball in. But we don't even have the ball. Like, he wins the ball early, like 30, 35 seconds earlier than that. And eventually lets that. And again, it's not the first time him winning the ball back in our half or higher up the pitch has led to, a chance or a goal already. And he's only been here for, a little over a month at this point. So again, the bit about the combativeness that you mentioned, I thought, is really important. It's definitely a key part to his game. And I'm really happy to see him, get the assist yesterday, just to get him off the mark in terms of, that end product. Like I said, the moment with Eddie, I thought was really good. Gave him a big hug. And Eddie, after the match was praising him, for that. Yeah. So I thought that was really good. You can tell already that, he's been in the squad seamlessly, which is really good to see. And yeah, I mean, it's a lovely bit of skill, isn't it? Like the way he drags it.
And there's no space there to do that either.
Yeah, he's right on the end line. It was wonderful. And then the ball is unbelievable as well. Just Trivella outside of his right foot, right in Eddie's path. Can't miss really.
Ball I could want to have exactly. A little tap in from that spot.
It was wonderful. I thought he was really good yesterday. And again, it's good to see him get those assists and get off the mark. And I think that first goal is coming, and I think it'll be great, when he gets it, hopefully this weekend.
Yeah, hopefully. Real quick, the last starter was Mateta. I actually moved it up when I saw yours to 6. You gave him a 6.5. I'll let you go first in JP.
So I thought he was a bit unlucky to not get on the end of a few long balls from Mark in the first 10 minutes. It wasn't his best game, and I think JP would say that. I imagine yesterday was a very emotional day for him. Getting his first call up into the French squad. Wondering how that might have affected him. Like I don't, have any idea, and he hasn't spoken about it, but I imagine that would have affected him, getting that first call up. So I think I can, forgive him not having, his best game. to be honest. But even still, I think he did well, in terms of holding the ball up, as he always does, even when the rest of his parts of his game aren't, clicking like they might be, when he's top. That part, is always there, which, is very important, to the way that we play. So it was good to see that. And I think the other bit that I want to mention about JP is these 1v1s, man. Like, I don't understand. Like, he's very good technically. Like, he's really, really good technically. It makes no sense to me that he doesn't ever want to go around the keeper. Like, the only goal I think he's ever done it that I can think about is the Leicester match last season. Sarr puts him through, he goes around the keeper and slots it into the empty net. I don't think he's ever gone around the keeper otherwise. And yesterday was a bit different because the angle wasn't as good. He was, going straight on, and defender was
straight to the goal.
Defender was on the cover. So I think that was fine to take early. He just has to hit the target. But the one, on Saturday is just he's coming from the left. He has his body shaped. He could just easily, just close his hips and roll it in. I think it'll be something that the manager and coaching staff will be working on.
Yeah.
But again, I thought, obviously it wasn't his best match, but it's fine. I'm glad he only played 45 minutes, to be honest, because he'll be fresh and ready to go on Sunday. It's good to see him get a break because he definitely needs one. So yeah, I thought, I'm sure there's more to come from JP, this season, starting this weekend. Again, not his best match, but, it's fine. Everyone, can't be, at their top levels every single match. So
I agree. Like I said, you're right. He was very lucky. I love the fact that we talked about before how Gahey was definitely the more dominant center half on the ball, and he was trying to get there were like 3 or 4, and I love that as a tactic to beat a low block. You just kind of use the center half to get the ball in the block, and he missed him by just a bit on each of those crosses. But again, we talk about the breakaway, great ball by Kamada, and he has to score or at least get it on target. And again, we just talked about how thing, but again, very happy with the work rate. The movement, I love the fact. Again, you mentioned the call up, which might have been on his head, but again, the 45 minutes was his plan before to get Eddie that half, which we'll get to him next. Was good, and again, I thought the work rate's there, so I'm not worried about it. Like I said, very happy the way JP's done, and again, if it allows this man to get more opportunities, that's fine. So get to Eddie Nketiah now. 8.5 from me, 8.5 from you. I want to just put this up as we talk about him. So here. But I just thought it was a great half for him. Easy could have had a hat trick. Obviously the offside goal being one, and the one they hit that the goal he made an early save on. But really well taken goal. We talk about it with from Pino's chance. I loved the interview after. He seemed very happy. You can tell he wants to play more. What striker wouldn't want to play more? But again, the contributions that he's had now, 2-2. Apparently, I didn't know this was a stat, but it came out. I read it this morning. He's now scored in the Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League, which is mad. He's scored in every competition he's been in.
Saw that as well.
2 shots on target out of 2. Link-up play was really good. He's getting to play with Pino and Kamada and Sarr and Munoz and even Soso there for the back. So he's getting to play with different players, which is really good. Obviously played with Ty on Saturday, last game. But no, love the way he's playing, love the contribution, and I thought he played really well yesterday. But your thoughts on Nketiah?
Yeah. I think the main thing with Eddie that I'm seeing this season is hold-up play is much improved. And I think that it is going to be key, in terms of him playing, as a 9, which I'm sure he wants to do, is how well, the ball sticks to him when it is going into him and how well he can link the play. Because he's obviously a very good finisher. He's always been a very good finisher. But it's what can he do, in between, outside of the box in terms of, what he can offer the side in terms of our buildup. And I think it's been much better this season. I think there was one point, and it eventually leads to the Pino shot, where we're playing it out the back. Warren comes deep. I think Hendo plays it to him. I can't remember who plays it into Warren, but Warren comes deep, splits the center backs, plays it out to Lacroix. Lacroix pings it into Eddie, and Eddie, ball's coming into him first time around the corner to Munoz. Yeah. No, he didn't just unbelievable pass around the corner to Munoz, and Munoz gets on the line, and that eventually ends up in the shot that Pino has. The one that he hit right at the keeper. But I'm watching that and I'm like, wow, I'm not sure if he's doing that last season. And when he came into the match and the ball's coming into him, it's sticking to him, and he's strong. And, laying the ball off and then, getting us going. And I think that part is really improved. I really wanted to shout that out because we obviously know how good he is as a finisher, and he's very confident, as you can see. And I think these goals, will even add, further to that confidence. And that is definitely, what you want a striker to have, is that confidence. I thought he was so sharp for his goal. As soon as he sees Pino getting down the line, he's making a run near post, gets across the face of his defender, and then makes the necessary contact. It's a great finish. What you'd expect, a player at the top level to be scoring, but it's not an easy finish. Like, it's not like it's on the ground or anything. It's, it's in the air. He has to make the proper contact, and he does, hits it low. The keeper has no chance. And you can see, the confidence, running through him, after that goal, at the weekend. Both of these goals he's taken, in the last couple of matches, very, very sharp. And it's really good to see him, hitting these levels, and, long may it continue. So he's obviously a great option to have off the bench, a great option, to be starting, matches, if JP gets injured, God forbid, or, we're rotating. So it's really good to see, him taking, these chances these last couple of matches. I thought he was really, really good yesterday. Deserved his goal, and unlucky not to score some more, but he looks really sharp, man. So I'm really excited about him this season.
Real quick, correct me if I'm wrong. Was his first goal last year the goal against Arsenal in the League Cup? That was his first goal, right? That he scored in December?
No, he scored against QPR, actually. I don't know if you
remember.
Yeah. Yeah, like Ebbs put him through.
Wait, I was there.
You were at the game. Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah.
That's so funny. My point was to be that I'm glad he scored. He scored earlier last year, but he scored the F goal. But then it took him from August.
Yes, after that, it took a while.
December, but no, so good, big up for Eddie. We'll go for the. I know it's going a little bit long. We'll go for the subject real quick. Nothing really add for Sarr. I gave him a 7, gave him 6.5. I just thought he was solid when he came in. Again, I talked about the link up play with Eddie, but do you have anything you want to add with Sarr? And I'm glad he got the rest also, because that's good that he doesn't have to play 90 minutes again. So
yeah, the main thing I wanted to add is it was good to see him get some rest. I think if we had been able to play, because he was really only on for about 5 minutes before we went down to 10, which would neutralize him. But again, I thought he was still potentially dangerous. And again, I think the main thing is it's great to see him get some rest, and I'm sure he'll be in the starting 11 for Everton on Sunday.
Great, you're great. And Lerma, game of 7. All I'm going to mention about Lerma is, again, he comes on, does his job. He's a very important part, because if he starts, let's say, on Sunday, I wouldn't be surprised because he's a good. And then he had in his passing 10 out of 11, misplaced one pass. I think he had one kind of did he have a shot? I think he had a wild shot. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he did that against Liverpool. It was Liverpool. No. But solid by him. Clean sheet, part of it. But any thoughts you want to add on Lerma?
Yeah, I thought Jeff did well yesterday. Recycled the ball when he came in. Just did his job, mainly, in terms of covering ground, making sure if there are any duels to be won, winning those, and then really, looking for Wharton, to get us going. So I thought it was a very solid cameo from Jeff yesterday. It was good to see.
Good. And lastly, Devaney, I gave him a 7, gave him 6.5 again. Manager trusts him, came on, does his job. The only unfortunate thing is, the fortunate thing for him is that when he comes on again, you mentioned the red card, so he has to go back from the 10 into the. Was he coming as a 10 or he came as a midfield? I can't remember. Was he coming in? Play midfield or 10?
I think he came into play on as a 10 because he came on for. Did he come on for Pino?
Or
Kamada?
Yeah, I think it was.
Or Kamada.
Yeah, but then he has to go back to the left wing back, which he can play it, but that's not his best position. So again, happy that he's able to get the minutes, whatever. But you also anything you want to add about Devaney?
No, not really. I think again, good to see him, how much the manager trusts him. You very clearly trust the kid, which is good to see. He's very versatile and just a great squad option to have. So it's the only thing I wanted to add.
Real quick, no scoring Cardines. All I'm going to say is I'm so happy he got his first appearance. I watched the post match. Love the fact that he got the minutes. I see it on his Instagram. Every time I send a message, he always likes it. He's he's a really nice kid on his. If you never know, he's a nice Instagram. But that aside, again, I'm just happy he got his Palace debut. Real great job by Glasgow to get him. He said, I don't give out minutes for free as gifts. You have to earn it, and he's earned it. So great for Cardines. But anything you want to add before we get to the manager?
No, it's great to see someone else come through the academy and get a debut. So again, not really much to say in terms of his play because he's barely on the pitch and we're down to 10.
Almost scored though. Remember, you almost a goal. Remember? Oh, you're right. The game.
Yeah, but I do. I didn't be. Yeah, you're right. I do remember that now. Yeah. No. So yeah, it's really good to see. Yeah, really good to see another academy product get a debut. So very, very happy for Rio.
I agree. And lastly, the manager. You gave him a 10. I gave him 9.5. You go first before you end the show on Glasner.
I mean, yeah. Again, I thought he's just brilliant, isn't he? So I mean, I don't have enough superlatives for the guy. Every match we play, since he's come in, really, we know exactly what it is that we're supposed to do. Everyone knows what it is that they're supposed to do. There's a clear plan. We know what the opposition is going to do, and then we execute the plan pretty much all the time. Especially recently. Obviously, 19 unbeaten. So, yeah, he's great. I love the guy. He's genuinely changed, our lives. To be honest,
Yeah.
as Palace fans, he really has. It's hard to believe, the kind of times we're in, and so much of it is due to what he's been able to accomplish, as a manager here. So, again, I thought the way he set us up was great. I thought the subs were really good, in terms of getting people some rest. The one thing I want to mention is I know people talk about how he doesn't rotate the starting 11 a fair bit, and that's definitely,
Right.
True. But I do think he finds a way to rotate players even without changing the starting 11 too much. We mentioned a bit about JP only going 45 today, so Eddie could get 45. And would be
60, right.
exactly. And then, it's very clearly planned subs. He took out Wharton on 60 on the weekend, against Liverpool. That was obviously very clearly a planned sub. And I think, that's a good way to get rotation, while keeping the continuity of the starting 11. I think, I understand, when some of the fans talk about, why don't we rotate more? But I think there's very clearly a plan for getting rotation, while not disrupting starting 11, continuity, which I think is really important. And, even the players, they weren't in, the toughest game yesterday. JP, those 45 minutes, I can't imagine they'll be weighing too heavily on his legs. I can imagine he can give us, 90, this weekend. So he didn't have to not, JP didn't have to not start yesterday, to get that kind of rest. So I just wanted to point that out. But yeah, he's great. The way he sets us up, was so solid defensively. And the way we go forward so quickly, breaking the lines and trying to get forward. Our players always looking, to play forward. Our first thought is always going forward. And it's great to watch. We play a very exciting brand of football. And that's down to, how well Glasner has drilled us. Thought yesterday he coached probably a 3 or 4-0, only ended up 2, but I know he's buzzing with the clean sheet. He mentioned that he loves a clean sheet.
Yeah.
So again, I thought he was great as usual. So yeah, love Ollie.
Yeah, just want to add, I agree. He had the 12 subs. I like the fact SA was back into the squad. On the people don't really remember, just to get him reintegrated. I love that. The 2 lineup changes, I had no problem with. Sosa for Mitchell, Hughes for Saar. First half tactic, he used the width, and he obviously Munoz and Sosa, and then using Gahey in the build. I thought it was great because he dominated possession in the first half. They had 60% in the first half. Again, that's the only way you can really counter a low block, is to kind of try something different. The sub that you mentioned, JP off, Nketiah scoring, getting Cardines on late, because he earned it. Kamada getting the rest for Saar, Pino getting the rest for Devaney. Again, listen, the song goes 19 games unbeaten. Got a new song for Glasgow. It's unbelievable. Like I said, been a fan, obviously, I've been a fan for a very long time, and it's not even close. It's the best time we've ever had, the best match we've ever had. I'm getting annoyed by the Man United links, but it's not the show for that. But I don't really care, because as long as he's here, I'm going to enjoy him. Managers leave, players leave. But as a Palace fan right now, I can't believe I'm talking about a game in Europe the day after. I watch European football all the time on on TV, and I'm to get to watch Palace play and then go late and looking at, let's see how Alkmaar did. We got them next, or how Larnaca did, because it's mad, but it's brilliant. Anyway, that's it for the play ratings. Went a little bit long, but we wanted to give you guys a little in-depth talk about the great win over Dynamo Kyiv. We'll be back with, hopefully, I know Dean, Louis are very tired with a preview for Everton over the weekend, but then we get a little bit of break with the international break coming up. Congrats to the players that got called up, Devaney, Gahey, Henderson, Mateta. There's a few other younger players that got called up to younger squads, but great time to be a Palace fan. Enjoy. Thanks for all the likes and subscriptions. Until next time, up the Palace.
Up the Palace.